We know that President Trump is a man of, well, shall we say, forthright words. Yes, I mean, let's not forget, only this week he decided to point out for the former royal known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, that, well, your wife's terrible, you know. I mean, ungallant, some people might say, but nonetheless, straight to the point for many others, right? But now, behind the scenes, he's put in another senior royal in a rather delicate position. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. Lovely to have your company. I told you a couple of weeks ago, following on from the meeting of course, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William, and the incoming president at that time, Donald J. Trump, over in Paris for the Notre Dame reopening, that basically they got on so well, and Donald prefers to deal with Prince William. Now, as everybody knows who watches this channel, weeks later, of course, the mainstream media catch up with this particular story, and then, you know, it becomes the folklore. But now, let me tell you, behind the scenes of Downing Street, there's a bigger problem, because quite frankly, whatever, you know, Donald says in public, and he did say some kind things about the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer. It's problems like this where you have Angela Rayner attacking the president, who has a thin skin, naturally doesn't want to be attacked on that level, particularly by somebody of Angela Rayner's calibre.
It separates in Europe, and Donald Trump is killing, you know, thousands of Americans by giving them duff advice, and his macho, I'm all right, you know, look at me, I've survived COVID, is an absolute buffoon. He has no place in the White House. He's an embarrassment, and he should be ashamed of himself, especially when thousands of Americans have died. COVID is a serious disease. It's a serious pandemic. People have died, loved ones have died, and he's an absolute disgrace. And so is Boris Johnson for not being able to even know his own rules. I think they're both idiots.
And now this is the problem, because they've made our ambassador to America the very oily and, shall we say, not without blemish, Peter Mandelson. Now, where it gets interesting with Peter is, of course, he also went on record to say how much he wasn't a fan of Donald Trump. This is the problem. Whatever you say is out there on record. Now, behind the scenes, from an excellent source, literally inside the White House, apparently Donald really only wants to deal with Her Majesty the King, or indeed Prince William, who he thought was a terrific brain, knew exactly the direction of what he wanted to go, etc. But you see, as many people know, the royals can't get into a political stance. And this is going to be a problem, because clearly, you know, when you think about it, we could do with somebody like Prince William, you know, getting involved. Now, centuries ago, that would be the case. You know, royals did interfere and shape the direction of politics, our British politics. And as many people now are basically asking over here, why doesn't His Majesty the King dissolve this disastrous parliament, which is limping on 7 months after its arrival to the worst ever? Record unemployment, you know, taxes sky high, fake CVs, you know, anti-Semitic tweets and WhatsApp groups. It's just horrendous. And everybody's looking to King Charles to say, you should do something. Never mind having the sleepover and trying to smooth the cracks over. It's gone too far. But back to Prince William. He's now in a very tighter spot, because diplomatically he's going to have to point out to Donald Trump that no, he wouldn't be able to get involved, and while they're very keen to keep an open relationship and no doubt keep that friendship going, of which we really, really need, it's not possible to do anything other than keep the friendship. But for Donald likes to get what he wants. And the bottom line is, behind the scenes, he has zero time for the British Prime Minister, even less so for David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, and Angela Rayner doesn't even climb onto the Richter scale. So for now, all hopes pin on exactly the manoeuvres of what our wonderful Prince William can organise. What do you think he can do? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.